Come back. In the previous session, the baseband communication system model, intersymbol interference and its causes, condition for ISI-free communication system, and the role of transmit filter, that is pulse shaping filter, to reduce the effects of intersymbol interference. In this session, we are going to briefly discuss about the role of receive filters in reducing the intersymbol interference, and also in combating the effects of other channel parameters. During this session, we are going to briefly discuss about the different types of receive filter, and under the different types, we are going to briefly discuss about the correlator type receiver filter. As we already know, the block diagram of a baseband communication system, which consists of a transmit filter whose impulse response is represented by Ht of t, which converts a binary symbol x of n into Si of t, which is transmitted through a channel whose impulse response is Hc of t and added with additive white Gaussian noise, which is present in the receiver. The receiver consists of 4 submodules. Among the 4, the first one is the receive filter, whose impulse response is Hr of t. Then equalizer, then a sampler which samples the signal at t is equal to nts seconds, and at last the informations are given to the decision device to estimate x of n. And in this session, we are going to briefly analyze about the receiver filter and the channel. The important spurious effect which occurs in the channel is ISI, which occurs due to the transmission of high data rate signal along a band limited channel of WHz. This ISI effects can be equalized with the help of equalizer. So the impulse response of the channel will be considered while studying the equalizer filter. Now, as far as receiver filter is concerned, the additive white Gaussian noise is the primary thing that has to be taken care, and that has to be the effects of the additive white Gaussian noise to be reduced. Generally, there are 2 types of optimum receive filters for baseband receivers in the presence of additive white Gaussian noise. They are correlation type receive filter and matched filters. So let us consider the first case, correlation type receive filters. Let us assume a transmitter which is capable of generating m distinct symbols which are represented by S of t is equal to Si of t for I between 1 to m, which can also be represented as S1 of t, S2 of t up to Sm of t. Here the m represents 2 to the power of n, where n is the number of bits per symbol. So let us analyze the different values for n and m. If n is equal to 1, m will be 2, and the corresponding binary data will be 0 and 1, and the symbols which can be used to represent these binary data are S1 of t and S2 of t. If m is equal to 2, then m will be 4, then the distinct binary data are grouped as 2 bits per symbol, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. In symbol, it is represented as S1 of t, S2 of t, S3 of t, and S4 of t. Similarly, if n is equal to 3, m is equal to 8, then the binary data can be represented as 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and up to 1, 1, 1, and the symbols can be represented as S1 of t, S2 of t, up to S8 of t. Similarly, as n increases, m is also increasing correspondingly, and the number of symbols, distinct symbols, are written as per corresponding to the binary group of data. If these n bits are allowed to this baseband transmitter, then the transmitter will produce Si of t. So at any time instant t, any one of the symbol is being transmitted by the transmitter depending upon the binary input data to the transmitter. And this kind of transmission scheme is called as M-ary transmission scheme. Generally, if 2 bits are involved, then we can call it as binary transmission. If four different distinct symbols are involved, we can call it as quaternary transmission schemes. Similarly, if m number of distinct symbols are used, then we can call it as m-ary transmission scheme. Generally, we know that S of t is equal to and these m set of distinct symbols can be represented in n-dimensional signal space. Assuming that n is less than m. And each of this symbol is having an energy E, which is represented by Ei, that is integral of 0 to Ts Si of t the whole square dt, where I varies from 1 to n. And this n-dimensional signal space is represented by n number of orthonormal basis functions. Which is represented as psi of t is equal to psi 1 of t, psi 2 of t, up to psi n of t. Here, the orthonormal basis functions psi 1 of t, psi 2 of t, and psi n of t are having unit energy, which is represented by the expression integral 0 to Ts psi 1 of t square dt will be 1 joules. And all the symbols, all the orthonormal basis function in this set are orthogonal to each other. That is, psi 1 of t is orthogonal to psi 2 of t, psi 2 of t is orthogonal to psi 3 of t. Similarly, it continues. So, if we take any two different symbols, psi I of t and psi j of t, are orthogonal to each other. Which is represented by 0 to Ts. Psi I of t into psi j star of t dt is equal to 1 when I equal to j and 0 when I not equal to j. That means if you substitute I equal to j, then integral of 0 to Ts psi I of t square dt will become 1, since it is having unit energy. and this m number of symbols are represented by algebraic equations. Which are the functions of orthonormal basis function. That is, Si of t can be written as summation of j is equal to 1 to n Sij into psi j of t, where I varies from 1 to m. If I is equal to 1, then S1 of t can be written as S11 psi 1 of t plus S12 psi 2 of t up to S1n psi n of t. Similarly, for I is equal to 2, S2 of t can be written as S21 psi 1 of t plus S22 psi 2 of t up to psi 2n psi n of t. Similarly, we can write up to I is equal to m. S m of t can be written as S m1 psi 1 of t plus S m2 psi 2 of t up to S mn psi n of t. And these m number of algebraic equations can be written in matrix form in such a way that and the vector S1 of t up to Sm of t are the different number of symbols, and each of the entry in this matrix is called as the correlation coefficient. Which is weighting the orthonormal basis function to form each symbol. So the coefficients S11, S12 up to S1n are called as S1, and these coefficients are contributing to generate S1 of t by weighting each of the orthonormal basis function correspondingly. Similarly, this is the next transmitted vector S2, which consists of S21, S22 up to S2n, which is contributing in generating S2 of t by weighing the n number of orthonormal basis functions. Similarly, we can say this as the mth transmit vector. Hence, any ith transmitted symbol is represented by a vector Si, which is equal to S11, Si1, Si2 up to Sin, where I is between 1 to m, and Sij is the correlation coefficient between the ith symbol Si of t and jth orthonormal basis function. Where I is between 1 to m and j is between 1 to n. Hence, Sij can be represented as integral of 0 to ts Si of t into psi j of t dt. And this is the base expression which is used in the formation of correlation type receive filter. And here the correlation between Si of t and psi j of t is determined by multiplying these two functions and then integrating it over a period of ts, where ts is the symbol duration. Hence, we can represent the correlator type receive filter by a product modulator or a multiplier whose inputs are Si of t and psi j of t, and it is followed by an integrator which is integrating the product over an interval of ts. Hence, Sij is received. And this is the basic structure of correlator filter. Now, we are going to use this correlator type receive filter in the presence of additive white Gaussian noise. Where the transmitter is assumed to transmit Si of t and N of t is the additive white Gaussian noise which is allowed through a correlator type receive filter. And the combination of Si of t and N of t is represented by R of t, which is received at the front end of the receiver. And the correlator filter is relating this R of t with jth